Hey, this is my photo project. Um, kind of walk through it. These are some of my favorite artists that I kind of wanted to put together with myself to kind of give this friendship or kind of, I don't know. I obviously have my arm around uh, J. Cole, but I'll kind of walk you through it. So we have, as I said, J. Cole right here. Um, I'll take you to his picture. If it'll let me. Okay, yeah, there we go. Here you can see the trim. It was especially hard to get like around like his hair and stuff, as well as a lot of these other artists. But I try to do my best to go around his hair. So you can see there's obviously some spots, but those are pretty small. Um, it's hard to I don't know. It was just particularly difficult to get in some fine areas just because it's so pixelated that you can see. I obviously could have got some of these, but it's hard to define that line, especially in these gray areas where you see that the hair is obviously there, but the closer you get, the more it almost looks detached from this piece of hair, I guess. So that's just kind of explaining a little bit of that. Um, But as you can see in the family pick, as I call it, you don't see too much of it. You don't see too much of that blue that you see. I think the white was a good background to use. You kind of see the trim of his hair there, but there wasn't, I don't know, too much I could do about that. But you can see it a little bit, but I think white was a good background to use to kind of show that. And then there's myself, yours truly. This was just a picture of me and my roommate here. We were at a 4th of July party, and we're obviously well festive. But as you can see in the family picture, a lot of the artists have headbands on. So I don't know. I just thought that was something I could put in there. I'll show you this screen. Um, if you look here, you see like a little bit of grain that I obviously didn't pick up. Um, but it's just it's just a little hard to see exactly where that is when you're looking. Um, anyways, you can probably run it. You probably run into some similar issues at some point. But there's that picture, and if you look back, uh, that's a little too early. There we go. You can't really see it right here. I mean, you might be able to see a tad bit um, here and here. But that almost looks like part of the shirt. I mean, it's kind of wrinkled. Um, so I don't know. It kind of looks good. So I decided to keep that in or not worry about it too much. Um, then here's JID, Jid. Um, here's his picture. You can see he ran into a lot of similar problems here. His hair is dreaded as well. Um, but I also try to do my best to kind of edge up and kind of touch some of those lines that are black just to get rid of that blue again, just to not have some similar problems that I might have been running into with J. Cole's picture. But you see here the line I'm pretty proud of. There's JID. Go back to the family picture. Obviously, here's Drake. We all know Drake. He's Drake. I'll say this one was harder than expected just because there's so many round and just like that's very straight as well. I almost didn't picture it to be as straight as it is. If you look, I literally had to go down pixel by pixel and just make like a nice straight line for the jean, even though it might not truly represent that. There might be a little bit of black, one pixel over maybe, but then the shirt is kind of distraught again. as well as some parts of the scarf um, rounded. It's as well as the head. The head, I'd say, was the hardest part, just because at times I had to literally do chink up one, down, or across, up, across, up, across. But I don't know. It turned out pretty good. It's harder to work with some of these lower grade images that you find online because they're pixelated, as I'm saying, and you get these small round like head shapes, or these small like elbows even. If you want to look at that, still a little pixelated. I try to go down as much as possible and literally go pixel by pixel and try to touch it up next to it. And it turned out okay. I'd say we can go back to the family picture. And I tried to layer it so the mistakes were kind of covered up by other pictures. Uh, if that makes sense. Um, Obviously, here you can kind of see like a glowy effect on JID, but I had to keep Drake behind him because obviously Drake is hugging somebody around his right arm, so that's kind of Smino in a way. The next artist I'm going to talk about, and then here is where I detached a lot from Griffin's shoulder, my roommate, and put it on J Cole's shoulder. And behind JID's head, you can't really see it because I have it covered up, but you'd see Griffin's hand, and that looks kind of unrealistic. But you don't see it here, obviously, because JID is in the way. I originally had him kind of off to the side, covering up Smino's left shoulder and arm, but decided to move it just because it kind of looked unrealistic. Um, so move on to Smino. This is notable artist. I like him a lot. He's young and has a good sound, but I like this a lot because his head is kind of similar. Um, as it's not really dreaded, it's kind of twisted, but I think that makes it easier almost because there's less of them. So as you can see, I could. Ooh, this is JavaScript. I'm just gonna remind me later. I try to get as close as possible to his curls, and I think that looks pretty good, honestly. If you look at the trim, the trim is almost just right under his hair, kinda, and it's big enough to where you can't really notice that that's what I'm doing. But that is, I guess, the best method. Just go right under, I guess. I'll show you this again. Um, and again, it goes right around. It's pretty trim, pretty simple picture. This is a little bit higher quality than some of the other pictures just because I think he probably had a photographer that had a nice camera, but it's still obviously offline, off Google. Somebody second-handed it, so there's still all these, I don't know, pixels all over the place. But I guess that's just how close you zoom in. You might be getting pixels, and it might be my computer also. The 15 inch isn't the 18, but yeah, that's the last artist, Smino Brown. Um, I believe is his last name, maybe. But yep, we are one big happy family, and then we're supposed to be all musically inclined. So this is in the background, kind of just like a pulse, where you hear. Kind of, we worked with the sound waves last project, so that's just kind of what that's there for. That picture was also taken from Google, so this is one, two, three, four, 5 layers, and then this is not a layer. This was the entirety of the picture, and this is just kind of if we had a Facebook page that we were all a group, and we'll put this as our header. Maybe that's what kind of the theme of this was, or maybe out of profile pic. I don't know. It kind of has that nice header theme to it, but that's the project. Thank you for watching. Hope you liked it.